Where? Yeah.
Ready?
Sir.
We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the December 16, 2021 meeting for the Board of County Commissioners for Shawnee County. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair this year, also representing District 2. Joining me this morning is Commissioner Bill Rippon, representing District 1. Good morning.
Morning.
Commissioner Aaron Mays, representing District 3. Good morning.
Morning.
Madam Clerk, we received an email at 7:47 this morning from the Sheriff's Office requesting that we pull item F3. So at that request, we will go ahead and have that item removed. And for you, I know that you want a motion, so I'm making a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Reflect that it passed 3-0, that item F3 has been pulled from the agenda. And with that, we are ready to begin.
Okay, first item is item 3, consent agenda.
There are two items on the consent agenda. Are there any questions or is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business, A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers totaling $2,407,571.85. Several items to highlight on that. Under building maintenance and sheriff to the city of Topeka for $94,195.20 is for the replacement of the chiller and cooling tower at the LEC. Under building maintenance and equipment fund, Field Turf USA for $116,528.35 is for turf projects at Lake Shawnee sports complexes. Under building and maintenance to Shirley Construction, $48,279.60 is for the Crossover tennis bathrooms. Under infrastructure, two payments for 45th Street project. One is to Finney and Turnipseed for $84,000. The other is to Ham for $558,655.62. Under sheriff to Axon Enterprise for $115,662.96 is for body worn camera maintenance and auto tagging service. And then under sewer districts to the city of Topeka for $156,363.33 is for operation and maintenance of several sewer districts. I don't have any questions about any of this. If you guys don't, then I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, District Attorney number 1, consider approval of request to transfer $100,000, a portion of the surplus from the DA's 2021 budget to the Cold Case Project Fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Kage, Shawnee County District Attorney. This is a similar request to the one made last year. We have a surplus. We've had a couple people leave for higher paying jobs, so we've been able to develop a surplus. And like we did last year, I'd like to transfer a portion of that into that cold case, capital case fund to replenish it. Since we have hired our cold case investigator, we've been able to file 3 new cold cases, which is significant. One of them is a capital case, and that has ongoing and excessive litigation expenses. And there's also, as you know, an ongoing cold case, a double homicide, that is scheduled to go to trial next year, and we anticipate having to dedicate additional resources to litigate that matter as well.
Do you know what the balance is of the cold case fund currently, or what we will be looking at total?
Last time I checked it, which would have been around the time I prepared this, I believe we were in around $94,000.
Okay, so this will bring it up to roughly almost 300,000.
Well, no, I mean,
to 294.
well, I think this.
200,000 almost.
Almost 200,000.
All right.
Yeah. I'm a lawyer, so math isn't my best thing.
Well, that, obviously, that makes two of us.
Debbie's shaking her head, so, yeah.
All right,
Swinging it here.
You said there'd be no math?
yeah. All right, so, do you anticipate that that is going to be enough to get you through 22? I know that with your capital case with the double homicide, you were looking at that being quite expensive.
I'm very concerned, and that's one of the reasons why I'm making this request now. I don't know, frankly, I don't know what those expenses are all going to be. The ongoing double homicide case has been going on for a very long time, and I don't know how much longer that's going to extend, and that's continuing to put a lot of strain on the resources available in my office. And you fold a capital case on top of that, which frankly, hasn't really started the full-on litigation phase yet. It's going to be a lot, and if I'm back here again at some point in 22, letting you know that the fund has been exhausted, I won't be surprised, no.
Okay. Any other questions for the district attorney?
No. I'd move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item C, Public Works, number 1, consider approval of request to reject bids for the replacement of the Southeast Laurel Road Bridge over Tecumseh Creek project and to authorize rebidding for the project at a later date.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. Back on, here a few days ago, last week, we had a bid letting. It was December 8th to be exact, and we had 3 bidders. The lowest bid was a good $140,000 above our engineering estimate, which obviously does not permit us to accept that bid. Just so you don't think we were totally asleep at the wheel, I have some information for you. This bridge is the same type of bridge that we let in January on Southeast 45th Street. Pre-stressed girder, same girders. On Southeast 45th Street, we had 4 bidders. On this project, again, we had 3 bidders. Now, even though the bridges are very similar, one has a span length that's 5 feet longer. Laurel Road will have more of a confined workspace. So in a sense, that'll drive up costs a little bit. But essentially, they are good for comparison. In January, average bid for pre-stress girders was $380. Last week, the average bid was $670. So for the quantity of girder that we had on our Laurel Road project, that amounts to $120,000. If you add that to the low bid, if you add that to the engineering estimate, we're at $810,000, so we're within striking distance of the low bid. What I'm trying to show you or tell you is that material costs have gone up tremendously. We've talked to the contractors. Labor costs have gone up 20 to 30%. So with all that information in mind, we believe prices are going to continue to go up. So to finish this item, I would like to reject these bids and ask for permission to resolicit bids very soon. Questions?
Kurt, I don't know that I have any objection to the rejection, given our policies and the bids that came in.
Mm-hmm.
The question I would have is more to item 2, when you're looking at raising the cost estimate based on the information you just shared. The Southeast Laurel over Tecumseh, that's not a heavily trafficked road. We had done cost comparison as to just abandoning the bridge altogether or redesigning it without the bridge. The neighbors wanted to have the bridge included there, the neighborhood, but this is not, again, a heavily trafficked area. Why not consider just putting this project on hold for 6 to 8 months and reassess what the pricing and conditions are? I know that right now we are in shortages of materials, supply chain, which are driving up the costs. 6 to 8 months, it may be worse or it may be better, but again, this is not a high need bridge. Why not put this on hold for a period of time?
And that, we've talked about that and considered it, but again, it's our opinion, based on the information that we have at this time, that prices will continue to go up. We won't see any appreciable decrease in costs in the 6-month period that you're talking about. And again, I have to look at the existing bridge structure. If you recall, on the southwest quadrant, we had a retaining wall that was visibly moving toward the creek. And so I do not want to be in a position where I have to close that road. So it's my opinion that the best course of action is to move forward with a letting at a higher price, get this project built, and move on to the next project.
But as the county engineer, by statute, you have the ability at any time to close a road if, in your opinion, it is no longer safe to
That
traverse.
is correct, but I would like to avoid that.
Questions for Mr. Niehaus on item 1, which is the rejection of the bids?
I know you don't have a gazing ball to look into. Do you anticipate prices going up in the next six months?
Based on, yes, everything we've talked to contractors, I've talked to material suppliers. We believe that prices will continue to increase, and that's why we want to move ahead with a reletting at this time.
You have the funding for the
Yes.
more expensive bridge?
Yes.
Would we be dollars ahead to approve the low bid now that we have?
I don't
Or
think.
Can we do that?
I don't think we can by state statute.
Okay. All right.
Kurt, let's take up item 1 first. I'll move to approve the request to reject all bids.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Reflect that it passes 3-0. Let's go to item 2.
Item C2, consider approval of a revised budget for the replacement of the Southeast Laurel Road Bridge over Tecumseh Creek project at an estimated cost of $999,800.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. Obviously, this item is related now that we've rejected the bids. Again, we'd like to move forward with a letting at a higher price for the bridge construction. And this item revises the project budget, and then we can move forward with another letting.
Kurt, given that your estimate is now $300,000 higher than what you originally thought, does that change your perspective on whether or not we should replace the bridge? Even, again, this is my district. My constituents want the bridge replaced. I know the residents want the bridge, and so but I feel a duty as a commissioner to ask, does this change your opinion as the county engineer, whether or not we should replace the bridge, given our cost increase of $300,000?
You mean as opposed to removing it and
Yes.
not replacing it?
Yes.
Well, again, I talked about this when we talked about the 2 alternates. And I think from a county standpoint, it's always wise to get rid of a bridge when you can. Bridges are cost intensive. If they're designed correctly and they're of a certain bridge type, they can be relatively maintenance, maybe not maintenance-free, but low maintenance. The removal option had some issues that I was extremely concerned about. Number one is I felt the south cul-de-sac, the cul-de-sac south of the creek, Tecumseh Creek, being in a wooded area where there weren't very many homes around, would be a source of vandalism, trash collection, a problem for the sheriff's department. I didn't want to create something like that. And so I felt it was best at this time to move forward with a bridge replacement.
I know the neighbors also commented on fire, emergency service, and school service.
Right. So even though the cost has gone up, the total budget cost has only gone up by $120,000, I still believe it's best to move forward with the replacement.
Again, I support the bridge replacement, but I want to make sure that we've had this discussion on the record for the public to see that in spite of the cost increase, the recommendation is still to go forward with the bridge replacement.
And I appreciate your caution on that.
Commissioner Mays?
So Kurt, the three bids that we received, the lowest bid was $822,000 approximately. Why are we doing it for basically $1 million?
Well, the $1 million covers a lot of other things. You know, we've got design costs, construction engineering. So the total project budget is $1 million, but we still believe that the low bid will be in the range of $820,000.
Okay.
Commissioner Ribbon?
If we don't put the bridge in, we end up with a cul-de-sac.
On both ends, north and south.
How far will people have to drive to?
The
get
detour
around?
wasn't significant. You know, we're talking, it was very short.
Okay.
But from the bridge standpoint, the route used to be US 40. It passed through Tecumseh. There was some historical significance to the people that live in Tecumseh. So we took that into account in our decision-making, and I think that's what your county engineer, public works director should do. So it was one where your county engineer is always trying to get rid of a bridge versus listening to the people and doing overall, what's the overall best thing, the right thing to do. And in this case, we decided that the bridge replacement was the correct way to proceed.
I'll make
And
a-
just to be clear here, you build two cul-de-sacs, that's not going to be maintenance-free, especially, again, if you have an ongoing trash issues, crime, so.
What would the expense be of building two cul-de-sacs?
Oh, we had an estimate. It was going to be probably, of course, at that time, we remember, we're talking about 6 months, 7 months ago. At that time, I think it was going to be close to $500,000 at that time.
But there's been quite an increase in the cost of materials for that as well.
Yeah, and another thing we were concerned about with the cul-de-sac is, did we have the space to build two cul-de-sacs large enough for fire department equipment to turn around? So, again, it's a balance. And it's my job to look at the pluses and minuses and go forward. I felt like overall the bridge was probably the better way to go. And I still believe that. And then when you combine that with the condition of the existing bridge and the potential for prices in the future, I believe it's best that we rebid this project as soon as possible.
My motion is to approve the revised budget based on the recommendations of Public Works, as our county engineer, also taking into account the needs and desires of the constituents. So that's a motion made.
I'd second that.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item D, Register of Deeds, number 1, consider approval of request to transfer $150,000 from the Register of Deeds Technology Fund to the Land Records Fund to be used for equipment and technological services relating to land or property records for the 2023 budget year.
Good morning, Commissioners. Becky Neosi, Register of Deeds. This is our annual transfer to the Land Records Fund from the Register of Deeds Technology Fund. It's a little more this year because of all the increased activity in our office of recording more documents. Now, there are certain uses for this money, so we have a committee set up, and we'll get together in February and bring those to you in March. These will be for the 2023 budget year, so that way departments can plan ahead for that when they prepare their budget. Do you have any questions?
Questions?
Nope, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0. Thank you,
Thank
Becky.
you.
Our next item.
Item E, Parks and Recreation, number 1, consider approval of request to award a bid to Kent Fence Company, Inc. to provide and install fencing around the new Lake Shawnee Dog Park at a cost of $70,000, utilizing $46,000 from the Parkland Acquisition Fund and $24,000 from the Parks and Recreation Operations budget, and authorization and execution of contract C470-2021 for same.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Director, Parks and Recreation. So back in, no, this is on November of this year, we had 4 vendors submit proposals for this RFP. Kent Fence was the lowest, most responsive bidder. This is for a new off-leash dog area at Lake Shawnee. I'd be happy to answer any questions. We'd like to enter into this agreement with Kent Fence.
Questions?
Just for the sake of people viewing in, where will this be located?
Yeah, it would be off of West Edge Road, next to the tennis courts and sand volleyball area, if you can picture that. We already have restrooms there. We already have a parking lot, so we thought that was a good spot to put it.
Okay. I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E2, consider approval of request to award bid to Citywide Facility Solutions for the cleaning of 6 standalone restrooms at a cost of $1,690 a month for 2 years, with funding from the Parks and Recreation Operations budget and authorization and execution of contract C471-2021 for same.
Tim Laurent, Director, Parks and Recreation Department. So we only received one response on this RFP, and that was from Citywide Solutions. This would be for the daily cleaning of the restrooms at Austin Park, Major Palm, Oakland, Santa Fe, and Ripley seasonally, and then we would also do the restroom at Shawnee North year-round. So we think this will take some pressure off of our current staff, our shelter cleaning crews, which are stretched pretty thin. So we'd like to try this out for 2 years with your approval. Be happy to answer any questions.
When you were, again, we sent this out for bid, we had one bid come back.
Correct.
We're cleaning 5 parks at $250 a cleaning.
Correct.
Okay. Just, I know that I get asked this question from time to time, but I'm going to call on Brian Cole. Brian, is there any way that we could utilize work crews or inmate crews for some of this work? Is that not feasible due to the level of staffing that we have at the Department of Corrections?
You know, I'm with Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. We currently are working with Parks and Rec on a number of issues and trying our best to help them. I'm very open to sit down and talking. I think it would be feasible to sit down, and I'd rather sit down and talk to see if we could create a schedule or something to be able to look at the staffing we have. I do have one person that is assigned there. I couldn't assign another person to unless we did it at overtime and stuff like that. But I think what would be best is if I invite Tim and his team to come over to the jail, we sit down with our crew people and we sit down to see if there's a way to look at this and do it, because I know a couple of things. Number one, it's good for the program. And if there's a way to save taxpayer money without taking away union jobs or anything like that, I'm happy to look at that. And I'm more than happy to sit down with Tim and his group to see if there's something we can do.
I know in the past, we've been limited on use of inmate crews due to staffing, and but do you think that's something maybe we would?
We could certainly take a look, and remember, the crews that we have are contracted to the city, so they're the ones that are used. The city's using them quite a bit. A lot of times what we are finding is that there's times maybe before normal business hours, after business hours, or even on the weekend. Daily cleaning could be tough, but you know, for me to say 100% yes or 100% no, I'd like to be able to sit down and to see what Tim envisioned for this and stuff like that, to be able to see what we could actually do and stuff like that. So that way I could come back or Tim and I could come back and give you a more accurate answer. But I'm happy to help and extend whatever we can for Parks and Rec.
I go back to the overall contract is $79,080
Correct.
for seasonal cleaning of 5 restrooms
For 2 years, correct?
for 2 years.
Yeah.
Other questions commissioners may have?
I agree. I think it'd be good to explore the possibility of using inmate labor if that's doable. Save us some money.
Can we just defer action on this for a couple weeks?
Sure.
I think that'd be my motion, is that we
Okay.
defer action.
All right, then let's look at,
Let's make it the 9th. Or no, that's, sorry. There's no January.
There is no
we'll do, Commissioner Mays, are you making a motion to defer action on this item until January the 10th?
Sure, let's do that.
Is that your organizational? Yes.
January the 17th. How about that?
Oh, that would be fine.
All right.
I don't want to
Second.
make it difficult, but I think that the second Monday
For
is your
peacemaking,
organization.
January the 17th.
All right.
I'll second
So
that.
moved.
Okay. We're deferring action on this item until January the 17th. Motion made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E3, consider authorization and execution of contract 472-2021 with Enterprise Fleet Management for the lease of a 2022 Ford Police Interceptor utility vehicle, increasing the annual agreement by $8,616 with funding from the operating budget.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Director, Parks and Recreation Department. So we have a 2003 Ford Crown Victoria that has reached the end of its useful life, and we'd like to replace that with a new vehicle. The Ford Police Interceptor utility vehicle is a fancy name, I believe, for a Ford Explorer that comes with all the bells and whistles that you need. If we're able to enter into this agreement, we would then down the road look to sell the Crown Victoria through Purple Wave. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions? Is there a motion?
Oh, I have a question real quick.
Yes, Commissioner Mays.
So Tim, we've heard from the sheriff several times that leasing pursuit-rated vehicles is not an option. Is this a pursuit-rated vehicle?
Well, I believe that it is, but we have a policy where we don't generally engage in pursuits. So we have discussed that with the county counselor and feel like that's our best course of action. So while I believe this vehicle could do that, I don't see us doing a lot of that or any
Okay.
of that.
Great, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Is there a need for a pursuit-rated vehicle then?
Well, I think it's not, I think that that's just part of it. I think this comes with the lights, with all the harnessing you need for the radios, everything that comes with a police vehicle. So I think other than high-speed chases, we need everything else. So,
Okay, I'll move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E4, consider authorization and execution of contract C473-2021, an agreement with Kona for the service of concession sales at the aquatic facilities or special events through December of 2023 with 15% gross sales minus applicable taxes paid by Kona to the Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Building Maintenance Fund.
morning again, Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation. So this is essentially an extension of our agreement with Kona Ice, and they provide services at our aquatic facilities and our ball diamonds and other facilities while we're having events. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
No, I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E5, consider approval of prime change order with Shirley Construction to provide LVT flooring in one office at the Crossover Tennis Restroom Facility renovation at $1,292.50, utilizing the department's building maintenance fund.
Good morning again, Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Department. So as we're about to finish this restroom renovation project at Crossover, we realized that we have an ice machine in one of these rooms, and we had carpet scheduled to go in there, and we feel like for this and other reasons, it makes more sense to go in with LVT. And so this is a small change order to the original contract, and we'd like to do that with your approval.
Questions?
No. I'll move for approval.
Second. Motion for approval by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E6, considered authorization and execution of contract C474-2021 with American Digital Security as a sole source provider for the installation of a video surveillance system at the Great Overland Station with funding of $31,763.95 to be paid by the Building Maintenance Fund.
Good morning again for the last time. Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Department. We've been working with the IT department, and we'd like to upgrade the camera and video surveillance system at the Great Overland Station. Part of this is because we're trying to get ready for the Dino Days and the T-Rex exhibit that'll be coming. Like I said, we have worked with IT. I know they're here if you have any questions about the system, but this is the same system that they utilize here at the courthouse. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Your time frame for the installation?
After speaking with IT, we believe we'll get it done in time, but I see Mr. Price coming up, so I'll let him speak to that.
Mark Price, Information Technology. We have been working with ADS on the time frame. They believe there's no issues in getting it installed before the exhibits show up. My major concern was actual delivery of the cameras, and they assure me that they can be here in time and be installed in time. The secondary concern is just the nature of the building and the install time. And again, it's going to take some time, but they're not concerned about it. And we've also taken into consideration the historic nature of the building as we add cameras and secure it. And one of the nice things, it will actually give us a full view of the building, so if something were to happen, we have a better idea of what did occur.
Have we had any discussions with the exhibit, making sure that it's in conformity with what they're expecting?
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons that we're not that we're behind, but that's one of the reasons we're here now. We wanted to have those discussions before we did anything to make sure we were meeting their requirements.
Okay.
And we're doing that.
Any other questions?
Yeah, and these buildings, just for clarification, they're interior and exterior, right?
That's true.
So I think it's important that we have exterior as
Yeah.
well, just given the proximity to the railroad tracks and
Yeah.
things like that. I think there's things we need to keep an eye on, so.
I'll make a motion then to approve the request.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item F, Sheriff's Office, number 1, acknowledge receipt of correspondence from Sheriff Hill regarding the purchase of $250,000 worth of fuel from Capital City Oil utilizing the 2021 departmental budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Danny Lottridge, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. We are asking to use $250,000 from our 2021 budget to prepay fuel for 2022. Right now, in this climate, with the rising cost of fuel, overall inflation, this will just help us really absorb some of the cost as we move into the 2022 year.
Major, this has been a habit or practice of the Sheriff's Office for several years. As we get to the end of the year, looking at what excess revenues or reserves you have left in your budget and spending it off. And so this is a continuation of that practice to defer some of your costs for 22.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
A motion to acknowledge receipt by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item F2, consider approval of request to transfer the remaining 2021 budgeted funds not to be in excess of $250,000 to the current Law Enforcement Special Equipment and Technology Fund for 2022 projects to include e-ticketing, vehicle leasing, renewal fees for priority dispatch, and investigation specialized equipment.
Good morning, Commissioners. Danny Lottridge, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. Again, along the same lines, the sheriff would like to transfer between $150,000 to $250,000 remaining from our 2021 budget into our Law Enforcement Equipment and Technology Fund that we established 2 years ago. Technology in law enforcement is ever changing, and it's not getting any cost friendlier. And then equipment overall is also going up in price. With the supply chain issues that we're seeing, there are some projects that we needed equipment for that we are unable to get done this year. We're hoping to get some of those projects completed in '22. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Commissioner Mays?
Just clarification, the agenda item says not to be in excess of 150,000. So is that?
Okay, I thought she said.
She said 250.
250, yeah.
My agenda says 150.
Mine says 150 as well.
Oh,
It's 150.
Well- mine says 250, sorry.
Well,
So
the memorandum says 150. The agenda that I have says 150. I'm not sure if there was a change.
The agenda online also says 150.
Okay, I don't have any, did you have?
Nope.
Mine's, hers says.
So then for clarity, the sheriff is seeking to transfer 150,000.
Okay.
Okay, and this is April Fool's Day for the county clerk.
Yep.
Thank you very much. All right, we're good.
Did we want to defer this?
Well, no.
No, that's-
Major, your request, though, is to take whatever money you have left at the end of the year from your 2021 budget and put it towards these projects.
Correct.
Okay. See, Betty Griner coming in. I just want to make
Betty
sure.
Griner, Director of Administrative Services. I do want a not-to-exceed amount.
Okay. Well,
So it looks like 150,000 is what is asked for on the memo. So I think I would ask you to approve that amount. If something is different than that, then they can come back and amend it.
is there other discussion?
No.
No? I'll move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays,
I'll second for the 150,000.
second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item 3 has been, F3 has been pulled. Item G, Emergency Management, number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2021-118, declaring the state of local disaster emergency in Shawnee County, Kansas shall continue and remain in effect until March 31, 2022, unless sooner revoked by the board.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dusty Nichols, Shawnee County Emergency Management. This is just an extension of the current declaration that was in place that we've already extended one time previous. In speaking with the Health Department and Incident Command and Dr. Locke, seeing the variants come up, I believe it's better to leave it in place so we're not trying to scramble much like we have in the past, and we have it in place. So.
Questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Next item.
Item G2, consider approval of request to apply for the Federal Emergency Management Performance Grant Program. The grant funds for fiscal year 2021 to provide the salary benefits funding to employ the planning section chief and logistics section chief positions.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dusty Nichols again. This is our yearly grant application. If you have any questions, I can answer them.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item H, Sheriff's Office and Emergency Management. Number 1, consider approval to purchase a mobile communications vehicle from the city of Topeka for $100,000 and approval to pay for the first year of the 5-year maintenance warranty agreement costs of $18,995.67, which is contract C-475-2021, and designate that future agreement costs for the next 4 years will be split between the Sheriff's Office and Emergency Management. Funding for this sole source purchase in the amount of $118,995.67 will come from the America Rescue Plan Act.
Good morning, Commissioners. Melanie Bergers, Communications Director of the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. We're requesting to purchase this mobile communications vehicle from the city. We've chosen to partner with emergency management because we would utilize this vehicle together, and it would be easier to fund between the two departments. We would purchase the vehicle for $100,000 and then the warranty for the next 5 years of approximately $18,000. The vehicle was purchased by the city several years ago. It honestly has not been used very much within the city. The county, our communications department and emergency management has deployed the vehicle several times over this last year as kind of a trial period to ensure that we could utilize it. This is a turnkey vehicle. There would not be any additional things that we would need to purchase for the vehicle. It is equipped with all of our radio equipment, which makes it custom and sole source. We've deployed it most significantly this year for the Willard fires, where we had several different fire department agencies involved. We used it for incident command and communications. That's what we would use it for, mostly from the sheriff's office perspective and emergency communications. We've deployed it to utilize tactical dispatching with our SWAT team and training. And then Nelson would speak to other areas emergency management would use it for.
Nelson Castile, Ops Section Chief, Emergency Management. We used it for the combination air show and stampede. We would also use it for any events that are rather large. It could also be used as part of our continuity of government and continuity of operations. It would allow us a location if we needed to go elsewhere, and we could also use it to support any of our fire, law enforcement, EMS, public works, any of those people that we have to leave the county. It would provide a way for them to communicate, also provide a space for them to work out of. And emergency management, that's one of our missions, is to help with many of those essential functions.
Questions?
Do we have a place to house this unit? Yes, right now it will be housed in the garage at the Topeka Police Department. We'll do a turnover with their employees to county employees. It's going to be, when we just say it's sheriff and emergency management, we have a tech working group that Melanie is over, and we would leverage those folks as well, keep it down there in the garage where we know, and then we would work on getting a space here in the county to put it should they need us to move it. Right now, they don't have a problem with it staying where it is for a little bit.
Any other questions?
Yeah, on the maintenance agreement, that seems like a lot for 5 years of oil changes. Is there more to it than that? Yeah, it has a mast on it, and anytime you put something rather large in the air, you have to have some leveling for it. So that covers all of the levelers that come down and jacks it up, kind of like you see on a bucket truck. That also takes all of the communications, that is the backhaul through a satellite, also through FirstNet, AT&T, and Verizon, and it pays for all of that as well. They're the ones, if we say the satellites are busy, like they probably were yesterday and part of this week, they would also be responsible for figuring out how to get us the bandwidth that we need back down here as well. And then they come out once a year, they check it over, make sure it's working right, and then there's emergency service in there. They are solely responsible for ensuring that if there's a problem with it, they come out within so many hours and they make the repairs. The only thing that it would not cover would, of course, be an act of God or something that was not a part of the vehicle itself.
Any questions? Commissioner Mays?
So a couple things. I think this vehicle's better suited for Shawnee County use than for City of Topeka use. I also know that this vehicle cost over $400,000 when it was built and bought by the City of Topeka, so I think we're getting it at a bargain. The question that I have, though, is, our radios and things change. Is this going to keep up with the technology, given that it's a few years old?
It should, yes, sir. The radios are going to continue, even though some of the radios, they call it end of life. That just means they no longer support it. We have a large number of radios in the county that are still working 20 to 25 years later, even though the support is not out there. And an example would be on some of the radios, the company that sold us the radios, they no longer make the batteries for them. However, there are aftermarket areas that we can go and collect that. It's also any time that we want to change out a radio, the tech working group and Melanie's folks over at the radio shop would be able to replace those radios. It's in a rack, which will allow that with, I'm not going to say relative ease, but it's not going to be real labor intensive, sir.
Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected it passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Our next item.
Item I, Information Technology, number 1. The Information Technology Department is requesting approval to transfer $57,000 from the 2021 IT budget to a project budget to fund the purchase of dual MFA.
Morning, Commissioners. Mark Price, Information Technology. This item is to create that project budget and then beginning next year actually purchase the product and some tokens to go along with it. This would allow us to increase our security at the county. We'd be rolling that out over the next year to add, like I say, the extra layer of security for users and systems at the county.
Questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item I2, consider approval of the request to purchase 36 horsepower Elite Desk personal computers through CDW-G using the State of Kansas contract pricing at a cost of $29,574 to be funded by the Information Technology 2021 budget.
I think it's Hewlett-Packard, not horsepower.
Oh, okay. Well, they did really put HP in there. I don't have any idea. They've got to spell it out, or I'm going to call it HP or horsepower.
Who knew?
Morning, Commissioners. Mark Price with Information Technology again. I really did want the 72 horsepower one, but they would.
See? I try to keep them happy.
This is one of the items that Betty keeps referencing in our expenditures that we have yet to make. This is just an extension of our tech refresh, replacing computers throughout the county. If you have any questions, I can answer them.
Any questions for the 36 horsepower personal computers?
That's right. They got
Move
me.
for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected it passes 3-0. Our next item.
You do know that whoever's going to be chairman next year is really looking forward to working with me. I can tell that.
Here's a nice guy.
I3, consider authorization and execution of contract C 476-2021 with SHI International on state contract for the purchase of 1,300 annual licenses for McAfee virus protection software at a total cost of $19,850 with funding from the 2021 department budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mark Price, Information Technology for the last time. This is kind of a unique item. If you actually look back in January, we renewed these licenses. We ran into a situation in 2020. We bought additional licenses to cover some computers that were added through the COVID money last year. So we added additional licenses. Those got onto a different cadence of renewals. So this is bringing all of our licenses, the 950 we did in January and the additional 350 we did in 2020 into the same cadence. So that's why it's kind of strange of a dual renewal in the same year.
Any questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected it passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item J, Noxious Weed Department, number 1, consider approval of request to solicit construction bids for the roof repair overlayment of the Weed Department building to be paid from ARPA funding.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Landon, Director of Shawnee County Weed Department. This morning, I'm just seeking your approval to solicit bids for the roof repair of the Weed Department building. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions regarding the solicitation of bids?
I'll move for approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0. Thank you.
Commissioner.
Our next item.
Item K, Commission Number 1, acknowledge that Commissioner Mays is reappointing Jeanette Johnson to the Shawnee County Planning Commission.
I am reappointing Jeanette Johnson. By all accounts, she's doing a good job, so I'd like to keep her on there.
Okay.
And I would move that we acknowledge that.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item K2, acknowledge that Commissioner Rippon is reappointing Tyler Tenbrick to the Shawnee County Planning Commission. Reappointing.
Reappointing, yeah. Tyler's done a great job. He's now vice chair, I believe, of the planning commission. He's doing a good job, so I would move that we approve his reappointment.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item K3, designate a voting delegate and first and second alternates to the Kansas Association of Counties special election.
There is a special election to be held actually this afternoon by Zoom. This is for the inclusion of an additional group into the Kansas Association of Counties. And I would move to make Commissioner Mays the voting delegate, with Commissioner Rippon as first alternate and my second as second alternate.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0. And I believe that Susie is going to be sending the notice now to the counties, Kansas Association of Counties, so that we're ready this afternoon. Our next item.
Item 5, administrative communications.
This is an opportunity for any department head or member of the public to address the commission on any item.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dusty Nichols, Emergency Management. Just a brief update. The storms and, well, all the activity yesterday in Shawnee County and Kansas caused a lot of disruptions. But in the end, when we were doing our damage assessments, we didn't see anything inconsistent with high winds and debris, of course, broken trees, tipped over trash cans, etc. A lot of power outages, as you guys are well aware. Some of you experiencing that. So kind of a good and bad in a way. We had the storm come through, but no deaths, no anything that I'm aware of to that point. Damage was fairly consistent and not too expensive. I'm sure Kansas Division of Emergency Management will be putting out information and requests for information for damages to any county property and so forth. So we're still doing assessments, but as far as I know, it's pretty consistent with what we anticipate with that kind of storm. I will also just want to add to dispatch. You guys took a lot of calls from the smoke as an area. Please, if you smell smoke in the area, on days like that, I'm just asking the public to maybe wait till you see the fire or know where it's coming from, because our fire crews were running their butts off trying to respond to those things last night. So kudos to them. Also to the power companies, Free State and Effigy, who are still working and worked all night last night in the wind trying to get the power restored. Kudos to them as well. And anybody else who was out there on their personally owned equipment helping to clean up across the city and county. So
Thank you.
I did touch base with the city at one point last night to see if there's anything we can assist with, and everything was working the way it was supposed to, so that was good.
Thank you, Dusty.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Nance, Director of Public Works. Just to add to what Dusty said, Public Works staff was out from 4:30 to 10:30 last night, removing debris from the roads and fixing stop signs. We had a rash of sign issues, and of course the stop signs are the most important, so we addressed those last night. We have a lot more to address, so that'll continue throughout today and possibly into tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Larry Moss, Shawnee County Treasurer. It's mid-December. I'm here to just gently remind you that taxes are due Monday, December the 20th. You have several options. You can pay by mail, in person. We do have a drop box on the west exit of the Shawnee County courthouse parking lot, as well as the easiest way to do it is online. We will accept cash, credit card, or debit card, as well as checks. Just a reminder, and I'll be back on Monday to say it again. So taxes are due on the 20th. Any questions?
Merry Christmas to you too.
Thank you.
I think he was looking at you when he said all that stuff.
Thank you.
Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Department. Well, speaking of Christmas, I want to encourage everybody to come out to Old Prairie Town for Old Prairie Town Christmas. That's this Saturday from 4 to 7. I hear that Santa's reindeer will be making an appearance. That's new this year. And we'll have some celebrity readers reading stories. I use the air quotes because I'm one of them. I don't know how big of a celebrity I am, but we'll find out. So hope to see everybody out there, 4 to 7.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Sutton, Shawnee County Solid Waste. In observance of the county Christmas holidays next Thursday and Friday, we'll be condensing our 5-day pickup schedule into 3 days next week. So Monday will be our Monday and Tuesday customers, Tuesday will be our Wednesday and Thursday customers, and then finally Wednesday will be our Friday customers. So please make sure that everybody gets their stuff out on where it should be, and we won't get missed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher with the Health Department. Wanted to take just a few minutes today. We have a retirement in our department happening tomorrow. Kay Powell is retiring after 34 and a half years with the Health Department in the county. Kay has worked in the same capacity, whether she's had the same title or not, but being our WIC team leader, WIC coordinator, all of those years. Not a lot of us can say that about our career. So she has literally impacted thousands of families here in our community through the WIC program. For that, we're very grateful. Kay, as she was cleaning out her office and desk, had mementos and items and things throughout the years, and it was so interesting just to see where WIC was when she started and where we're at currently. And who knows where we'll be at in 34 and a half years moving forward. But I feel like Kay's desk should retire. She may note that that desk has been her desk this whole time. So it's moved to every office that she's been in. Kay was also honored yesterday. The state, Dave Thomason and Patrice with the state WIC office came and awarded Kay a certificate and a gift, and just thanking her for her work. Kay's also been instrumental at the state level. Sometimes we say it's a blessing and sometimes it's not a blessing living just down the road from the state health department. But Kay's been called upon a lot throughout the years to mentor new WIC staff as they join at the state level. So this is my opportunity and our opportunity to say thank you. Kay, we're going to miss you. You're leaving some really big shoes, but we wish her well in retirement.
So I always tell people I've been here 34 years, but I've worked for 2 different organizations and under 3 different names. So when I started, I was a city employee, and I'm not for sure what year the health department went over to the county. So I was the Topeka Shawnee County Health Department, and then I became the Shawnee County Health Department, and then when the clinic moved out, we became the Shawnee County Health Agency, and then the Shawnee County Health Department with that. So it's been a good year. I mean, obviously you've supported me and raised my family, and there's lots of good memories. I remember back in the 80s in the recession, and you had to plead by ink pens and paper clips with that, and we went years without pay increases, but the past few years have been good, and I've got a great staff, and I know they'll continue with that. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hard to top that.
Yep.
Commissioner Rippon,
I can't top that. Yeah.
Commissioner Mays.
Well, congratulations to Kay. Kind of to just piggyback off what everybody else was saying, thank you to all the folks that were out overnight last night working. I drove by at about 9 o'clock last night an electric crew. I don't know if they're Westar or I'm sorry, Evergy or Free State, but there was a guy up in a bucket truck repairing power lines in that wind last night, and I can't imagine how scary that is. So, thank you to Kurt and your team for being out in that, taking care of the things we need to keep our citizens safe.
Absolutely. Note all the crews and everybody that's been involved, but also thanking again Kay for her 34 and a half years. That's a long time for any organization, and all the changes and impact that she's had in the community. So thank you. Madam Chair, Clerk, our next item.
Item 6, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session today. This will be regarding personnel matters of non-elected personnel and consultation with the attorney for the body or agency, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, and matters related to employee or employee negotiations, whether or not in consultation with a representative or representatives of the body or agency. All three of these relate to the implementation of the Evergreen Wage Study, and I would move for that to be for a period of 1.5 hours. Let's start it at 10:05. Motion made.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflected it passes 3-0. No action is anticipated. We are in executive session with us starting that executive session at 10:05. I sign. We are back from executive session. No action was taken. We are adjourned.
Well, have a good day.